Is now a good time to sell your Pokemon card collection or certain cards? Should you liquidate? I mean, the market's in a high. Probably a good time to, you'd think. Hi, I'm Minty. You may notice I am in a different car. It's a little random. Yes, that's because I'm driving with my beautiful girlfriend here, and we are going to Costco. So we're in her car. Doing some Sunday chores. But this is something I was thinking about recently, where if the market is so healthy, shouldn't you sell? Shouldn't you sell what you got? And I think that's a fair play. I think that's a fair point. Some would argue that it's going to keep going up. Got to wait for the flat line. So I'm just going to talk about some of my thoughts about that today. The differentiation between raw and slabs and sealed, because honestly there's a different answer for all of them. So a little about me, if you haven't watched my content at all. I'm a full-time college student. I wouldn't call myself a Pokemon investor or seller. I do think I'm a collector first, but for me as a collector, being a full-time student, I've kind of learned how to sell in some capacity, just Facebook Marketplace, whatnot. Not whatnot, not that. I was saying and whatnot. That's funny. Good accidental marketing there. But everything I've learned has just come from the point of being a Pokemon fan. I'm a Pokemon fan first, a Pokemon collector first, but obviously sometimes you need some money, so I have sold cards, traded cards, done market moves with Minty. Here we are. And so for me, I know that being tight on funds, that's something I'm always considering of, okay, what is the best play? What is the best decision to make here? I know for me, it's a pretty no-brainer. If one of my cards goes up, I collect slabs. If it goes up more than 100%, 120%, I'll immediately be down to sell it at 80%. So I'm getting like 100% profit. Then I'm always down for that. That's no question. That's pretty easy choice to make. But slabs are much different than sealed product, because I do have some booster boxes, right? I have some Scarlet and Violet. I have a Solar Tempest. I think I have a Lost Origin still. I might have sold that actually because it went up so much. With something like booster boxes, as most of you probably know, that's usually a long-term hold, right? When you buy a booster box, you wait a very long time, because that's basically the safest asset you can have, right? In terms of having a collection. Having a booster box, it's probably going to go up a good portion in the next 5 to 10 years, and who knows how much, but you're going to be doing pretty well on it. So if you're good for money, you're not worried about it. Maybe you have a steady income, steady living situation. You're just in a steady, safe, comfortable life. I think sealed is a no-brainer. I think sealed is a no-brainer place to park some of your money. I know a lot of people just have one of each booster box for an era. I think that's a very easy, conservative thing to do. But for me, for my position, I don't really have that luxury. I don't have that safety net of a savings or wealth or having a steady job. I'm still trying to get my bachelor's, right? I rent from my cousin. So my situation is a lot more chaotic. And I'm sure a lot of people nowadays, with just life, they have very chaotic situations too. So that makes choices harder to make. When it comes to your collection, when it comes to your happiness and your fun, it's what do you put first? Obviously, I think many people know this, but you gotta put your livelihood and the people you care about, that always comes first, right? So if you're not really enjoying Pokemon as much, or even if you are, and you're not able to make ends meet, then sometimes you have to make decisions. But when you do make those decisions, make sure you are getting your, the true value of what you believe your cards or your collection should be. There's no problem in being firm on wanting to sell 80%, because a lot of vendors take 70, and that's tough. So that's when you kind of have to do your own thing. Maybe Facebook Marketplace, sell it 85, 90 if you're really desperate, but it really depends how liquid things are too. So there's so many factors. Now, what I have the most knowledge in is slabs, right? Like I said, I collect slabs. I like slabs. I think for when it comes to like short-term investments, they have like the biggest opportunity to like go up a lot. But for me, I just don't like collecting raw anymore. I had an experience not too long ago. I guess it was around a year ago, so that is a while ago. But I had a Lily Full Art, right? The Ultra Prism one that I actually pulled from a pack back in Sun and Moon when I played the TCG. I played Greninja Break. Yes, I was that guy. And that Lily Full Art at that time was worth like $20. So I was like, okay, I'll just hold on to it. I like the card. I like Lily. I think she's a great character, actually a very well written character, which is kind of rare for Pokemon. So I kept the card. Years go by. This is during like this is like what, a year or two ago, whenever the waifu era was, and she just shot up like crazy. And I think that card raw was supposed to be like $500 or something. But when I went to my first front row in San Diego here, I was selling the card and I was expecting, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was already up a bunch of money. There's nothing to complain about. But I realized it was lightly played. That was I asked a few different vendors, and it wasn't as minty as I thought it would be. Haha, funny. And it's crazy because I pulled the card, I put it in a binder, and I feel like after that moment, it just made me paranoid. Because I was like, here I was expecting a certain amount of money, and then now it's going to be like, I was able to sell it for like, it was $350 value, got like $300 out of it. I think I actually traded for a Lugia V PSA 10, which I ended up selling too, which I kept that thing's like, I think I just saw last sold at like 1.2K on eBay, but that's been around like 1,000. I sold it when it was like 600, 700, but I got it for $3. So once again, when you're 100% up, you can't complain. You can't have those regrets. Like, it's a no-brainer, especially once again in my situation, paying for getting through college and paying rent and all these situations. Like, luckily I worked full time. I have money saved, but now I do have a lot of that savings in Pokemon because it has been an investment for me that has proven to grow. And now it's like, once I do graduate and have my bachelor's and I'm looking to like make these moves and stuff, it's like, it's wild to think that this thing that was originally a hobby, originally just collecting, has actually become something that's like stable, hopefully. I mean, I think Pokemon's pretty stable, which is part of the argument today is, I don't know if you should sell most things. If you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, I don't know if you should. I don't think the bubble is going to pop. People say it's going to. I don't know if it's going to. Early April this year, like around springtime, we saw a bull, and then over the summer it did come down a little bit. The market kind of was dying down, but then we're just up again, and the things didn't come down that much. And I think as long as there's interest in Pokemon, which I think there'll always be, like even hypothetically, if you think about it, right? Say a lot of people right now just stop being interested in Pokemon. That's fine. Maybe your collection goes down in value, all these things, right? This next generation that's growing up, think about it, these 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 10 years from now, they grow up. They have jobs. They finally have a job. I know when I first had money, the first thing I did, I remember I was actually talking to Jarchomp Collectibles about this at Front Row. Pleasure meeting him. Like the first thing I did was collect a set of Pokemon cards when I had a job, when I was 18. And because that was a dream of mine. And I know for a fact, kids right now who aren't able to get their hands on product, aren't able to open packs, who are lifelong Pokemon fans, I know that those people are going to be interested in Pokemon when they grow up at some point, right? Nostalgia is powerful. Nostalgia is very, very powerful. And that's something we don't really think about or consider, right? When these kids grow up, they're still going to be fans. So I think Pokemon is as safe as can be when it comes to like a collectible marketplace. But here's my caveat once again. Here I'm talking money, Mr. Krabs, right? At the end of the day, it's about your enjoyment. Like with my collection that I collected when I was 18, I got the full collection. I had that for almost 10 years. That was in 2016. And like I said, I haven't been interested in raw. Like, I've shown many people that binder. It was the full collection of the 20th anniversary of Generations. And it just wasn't really bringing me much joy anymore. It just sat there collecting dust. And I was like, you know, why hold on to this? Like, if it's not actively something that you think about or makes you happy, why hold on to it? Now, on the flip side, here's another example of that, though, of something that does bring me a lot of joy, something that I do love, the Bubble Mew. God, that has been my favorite card since I first saw that art. I've seen that artist's, I'm drawing a blank on his name, I've seen his art on, like, Twitter, like, or Instagram. Like, I love that artist, as is, the little comics that they do. And to see them make a card, I was like, oh my God, and it was adorable. Like, it makes me think of, like, Adventure Time, which is, like, one of my favorite shows. I love that card, and I have loved that card since I've seen it for the first time. So I knew that once I got my hands on that card, I'm not letting go. So I have an English, I have a Japanese. I remember I almost bought the ones on eBay, the Bubble Mew, when it was like $3.50. I didn't. I regretted it. I got one for $6.80, and I have not regretted it once. And I don't know if I'm going to sell that card. I really don't, unless it's an emergency, unless I really need the money. But if I do, I would sell English, keep the Japanese, because I mean, I might just collect Japanese now. Keep in mind, this is a warning for everyone out there. With the tariffs and everything happening, Japanese is going to go up. I think Japanese is better than English. Most people would agree. Oh, I can't read the card. Who cares? You're looking at the art. The art is such higher quality, it is so much better. Keep an eye out for Japanese. So, that was mostly my points I was making for today. I don't think you should sell, unless you need to. I don't think the bubble's going to pop. I think things are pretty safe. But if you're not really having fun in the hobby anymore, go for it, man. Of course. Of course. Do what makes sense for you. And my last bit of advice that I want to really stick with you, the really important message, is if you're acting out of fear, it's probably not what you really want to do. You might want to rethink it. So, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for the support on my last one. And yeah, if you're interested in that more philosophical topics like that, check out my meditations video. And yeah, leave a like and comment. Love to talk to you guys. So, thanks. Minty out.